Chapter 5, Lesson 1, Integers and Graphing. Our content and language target today. Content target, students will understand how positive and negative integers are used in everyday world. Our language target, how you'll do that is students will show their understanding by graphing and explaining where integers are on a number line in their groups. So positive whole numbers, their opposites, and zero are called integers. To represent data that are less than zero, you can use negative integers. A negative integer is written with a negative sign. Data that are greater than zero are represented by positive integers. So as you can see, negative integers are here. That's all the ones with a negative, and they are to the left of zero. When we look at our positive numbers all have the plus sign or don't have it at all. So plus 3 and 3 are both positive. They are to the right of 0. And then we have 0 itself, and it's not either negative or positive. 0 is right in the middle of our number line. So when I look at example number 1, it says write an integer for each situation. Explain the meaning of 0 in each situation. So number 1 says a 10-yard loss. So if we're thinking about a loss, that means that we're going backwards. We're losing something. We're losing yards. We're losing a distance. So to write this as an integer, a loss tells us that that's a negative thing. So it would be a negative 10 yards. So when I look at example number 2, 4 inches of rain above normal. So normal is where 0 is at. Above means it's positive. So 4 inches of rain can be written as plus 4 inches of rain. The second one says a $48 deposit into the savings account. Well, a deposit means that that's a positive thing. You're putting money into your account, so your account gets larger. So this would be a plus $48 deposit. Number 6 is write an integer for each situation. Again, so as we look through, we read through each one. A gain of $2 a share. Well, this is talking about stocks, which we don't use really in 6th grade. But the key word here is gain. And a gain tells me that it's a positive thing. We're gaining something. So we get a positive $2 a share. Whereas I look at letter B, 10 degrees below 0. So I know that below tells me it's a negative number because it's less than 0. So it's a negative 10 degrees. On this example, it says integers and sets of integers can be graphed on a horizontal or vertical number line. To graph a point on a number line, draw a point on the number line at its location. A set of integers is written using braces, such as 2, -9, and 0. So if we were to graph that data, I look at finding 2. 2 does not have a negative sign, so I know it's to the right of 0. So when I look down here, here's 2. So I simply put a dot. Negative 9 has that negative sign, so it means it's to the left of 0. So I count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Well, I know that 9 is in between 8 and 10, so here's negative 9. And I'll put a dot on there. And the last one is 0. 0 is not a positive. It's not a negative. It's here in the middle. So again, I'm going to put a dot on 0. So when I look at example number 2 here, we have graph -7 on the number line. So here is 0, and I know all negatives are left of 0, and all the positives are to the right. So here's 0, so I have to go 7 to the left. So here's 2, 4, 6, 8. Well, again, I know that 7 is in between 6, 7, and 8. So here's 7, and there's my dot. The third one says to graph the set of integers, -4, 2, and -1 on the number line. So again, with negative being to the left, -4 would be 4 to the left. So I have -2, -4, and I'm going to stop because that's -4 and put a dot. 2, I know 2 is positive, so I go to the right. All positives are to the right, so I go to the number 2. And the last one is a -1. Again, it's negative, so it means it's left. So I go to -1. Well, -1 is between 0 and 2. So here's -1, and we'll put a dot right there to represent it. The last two, we have to graph the integers, the set of integers on a number line. So I have -3. So again, negatives are left, positives are right. So -3, I start at 0. They're counting by 1, so I go back 3. 1, 2, 3, and put a dot. 0, it's not a negative, it's not a positive, it's right here in the middle. So there's 0. -2, there's that negative sign again, so I know it's to the left of 0 to -2. And 4 is positive because it does not have that negative sign, and I go right to the number 4. Letter D says 8, -9, -6, and 5. So 8 is positive because positives are to the right. I find the number 8 and I put a dot. -6, again, negatives are to the left. So I start at 0 and I go backwards to the left until I find -6 and put a dot. -9, again, we're left of 0. So I start at 0 and I go backwards to the left until I find -9. But I know that 9 is between 8 and 10. So there would be -9, and there's my dot. And the last one is 5. 5 is a positive number. It's to the right. So 2, 4, 6. Well, I know 5 is in between 4 and 6. So there's 5. And I put a dot there. This is chapter 5, lesson 1, talking about graphing integers.